How Princess Diana's death transformed the royal family. Diana, Princess of Wales, had a complicated relationship with the press. As the spouse and later ex-wife of King Charles, she was a magnet for the paparazzi, who earned upwards of £500,000 for each grainy snapshot. In 1993, Diana reportedly confronted a photographer who was waiting for her outside of a movie theater in London, yelling, "You make my life hell." But Diana also recognized the power of the press as a tool to transform public opinion. She had photographers on standby when she shook hands with AIDS patients in 1987 amid homophobic myths that the virus spread through casual touch. A decade later, Diana walked through a minefield in Angola to raise awareness of efforts to clear landmines around the world. When she realized some photographers didn't get the shot, she turned around and did it again, the Associated Press recounted in 2022. Hello and welcome to my channel. Please do well to hit the subscribe button, like and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news update. Diana's oft-contentious, sometimes symbiotic dynamic with Britain's tabloids reached its peak on August 31, 1997, when an early morning car chase with photographers eager to capture footage of her and her new beau, Dodi Al-Fayed, took a fatal turn. The British public awoke to the news that the 36-year-old royal was dead, killed in a crash that also claimed the lives of Dodi and the couple's driver. Prime Minister Tony Blair eulogized Diana as the people's princess, and the outpouring of grief that followed underscored the accuracy of his assessment. Diana had such a compressed life, says Ariane Chernock, a historian at Boston University. The fact that she died in her 30s, with so much possibility, is part of her enduring mystique, but it's also that she wore so many different hats in that short life, and that we really saw this woman coming into her own in full public view. Diana's family was outraged at the circumstances surrounding her death. Her only brother Charles, the current Earl Spencer, bitterly declared, "I always believed the press would kill her in the end. Not even I could imagine that they would take such a direct hand in her death, as seems to be the case." He added, "It would appear that every proprietor and editor of every publication that is paid for intrusive and exploitative photographs of her, encouraging greedy and ruthless individuals to risk everything in pursuit of Diana's image, has blood on his hands today." But, 25 years later, Diana's impact on the royal family endures, in ways both big and small. Royal historians see Diana's legacy in the engagement rings made from Diana's jewelry that Prince William and Prince Harry gave their wives Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle, but also in the charitable causes championed by her children, like their Heads Together initiative to promote mental health awareness. One of the things that Diana introduced into modern royalty was the concept of conveying a sense of caring for people, as Lacey puts it. For example, this summer, Kate Middleton and Prince William visited a children's hospice in East Anglia that Diana opened in the 1980s. As Carolyn Harris, author of Raising Royalty: 1,000 Years of Royal Parenting, explains, "We've seen both William and Harry are very concerned with vulnerable people, people with disabilities, and people suffering from mental health crises." Perhaps the most striking similarity to the time of Diana's death and the current state of royal affairs is the power of the tell-all interview. The royal family was still reeling from Diana's 1995 BBC interview with Martin Bashir, in which she had revealed her struggles with bulimia, expressed doubts about Prince Charles's readiness to be king, and admitted to knowing about his affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. The royal family is continuing to reel from tell-all interviews. In 2019, the Queen's second son, Prince Andrew, gave an interview to the BBC's Newsnight news show about his association with Jeffrey Epstein and allegations that he had sex with a teenage girl who was trafficked. That interview was widely seen as disastrous for the prince, and he later settled a sex abuse lawsuit with the alleged victim. The interview has been compared to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's sit-down with Oprah Winfrey in 2021 after giving up their royal duties and moving to the US. Markle said that a member of the royal family expressed concerns about what the color of her son Archie's skin would be when he was born. And, in an August 29 profile for New York Magazine's The Cut, Markle discussed how toxic tabloid culture strained the relationship between Prince Harry and his father. Both sons had an opportunity to reflect on the significance of their mother's death and what kind of impact she had on them earlier this summer at the 2022 Diana Awards ceremony, which honors young activists doing humanitarian work. I believe there's no better way to celebrate her life and work than through recognizing incredible people who dedicate so much time and effort to helping those around them, Prince William said. And as his brother Prince Harry explained the main lesson he learned from Diana, my mother instilled in me, and in all of us, a drive to speak up and fight for a better world. We will further dive right into more insight on how her death has affected the British monarchy till this day. Firstly, lasting influence. However, recent changes should cheer King Charles. The heir who's waited and waited is more content and less anguished. He's still driven by a desire to deliver change, but the royal prophet in the wilderness on climate change has been embraced by the mainstream. A prince once derided for talking to plants is praised for trying to save the planet. And yet, whatever accommodation he reached with his first wife in life hasn't survived her death. Diana haunts Charles. A recent YouGov poll commissioned by the Press Association suggested that the number of people who believe the former Prince of Wales has made a positive contribution to the royal family has fallen over the past 4 years, down from 60% to 36%. This polling took place at a time when it was hard to escape references to Charles's painful past. Newspapers and television channels have reflected at length on the influence of Diana, Princess of Wales, an influence that stretched from fashion to the British monarchy. Number 2, public backlash. The Queen was the first to feel it, in the days before the funeral in 1997. The status quo of an empty flagpole at Buckingham Palace and continued residence at her Scottish bolthole of Balmoral couldn't be maintained. The monarch returned early to London. She relented, was how one of her former officials put it in a BBC documentary. I was surprised. The Queen promised in a live televised address to the nation to learn lessons from Diana. The abiding one for the ancient institution has been to try to avoid ending up on the wrong side of public opinion. The week after the princess's death was the worst of the Queen's reign. She didn't want a second such week. The princess's supporters would maintain that such self-preservatory moves have also been accompanied by a desire for Diana's memory to fade and not dominate the agenda. No royal attended the opening in 2000 of a garden in her memory. For 2 decades it was accepted that a woman who died aged 36 couldn't be captured in stone. Now her sons are acting. A Diana statue was erected. The princes who grieved in private as boys are, as adults, trying to shape how she is remembered. William and Harry have talked in interviews about Diana's qualities as a mother and as a campaigner for causes she cherished, causes they have chosen to embrace. Those seeking signs of Diana's ongoing influence and relevance seize upon how comfortable her sons appear to be in their own skins, and in front of the public. It's not without cost. The 2 princes who live in a palace and who ate burgers outside with their mum have struggled to accept they can't lead a normal life, as well as a desire to experience life on the outside. Diana's sons share her ambivalence towards the media. For the princess, the press was something she courted and tried to tame. She failed. Extraordinary and irreplaceable. For the princes, one fact will never fade. Photographers pursued their mother into a Parisian underpass as a drunken chauffeur transported her to an early grave. At the moment, Diana's influence on the monarchy appears to remain strong. It may well have abated by the time we enter the reign of King Charles, whose wife could yet be crowned Queen Camilla. The 30th anniversary of her death might not register as intensely as this year's milestone has done. For now though, she continues to be mourned both by those close to her, and those who never met her. The princess, who, in the words her brother Earl Spencer used in his eulogy, was the unique, the complex, the extraordinary and irreplaceable Diana. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave comments and to like and subscribe. Thank you.